Hello, hi guys, welcome back to the Football Showdown channel. We are back with another scouting video, this time Matheus Cunha. He's been linked with many teams, Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, but we almost got a co-sign from Fabrizio himself saying that he's almost going to join Manchester United in spite of not getting Champions League, or they may get Champions League, it doesn't matter, but it looks like he's on the way to Manchester United. But the common notion regarding Matheus Cunha is that he's misprofiled, his strengths are misunderstood, and sometimes they think that he's very wasteful. A lot needs to be said, a lot needs to be discovered, and at the same time understood. To help me with that, the scout for today, Aarush. Welcome, Aarush. How are you?
Welcome, welcome. I'm good, man. Thank you for hosting me. And I think United fans need to be a bit excited about Matthias
Mm,
Cunha. Yeah, there's a lot of
yeah.
talk around how he has problems off the field as well, apart from the things that you
Mm,
mentioned. But I think
mm.
the versatility that he brings, I think that is going to be a game changer.
Fair enough, fair enough. You know what? Let's just get straight into the video. Let's talk about how or who Matheus Cunha is, like in terms of everything. Just let the audience know about how good he is or like what kind of player he is.
Let me just give a small introduction of Matheus Cunha. So Matheus Cunha is basically a Brazilian. His career basically started from the likes of playing in Bundesliga, where he had spells for like Hertha Berlin, and then even Leipzig at a point of time, where he then got a move to Atletico Madrid, and from there, after impressing for a couple of seasons, he made a move to Premier League's recently promoted side Wolves, where he had a 50 million deal, which was also their most expensive signing in 2023, where his development trajectory actually went really high, and that's why he's been touted to be one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. Why? Because he's been at the end of like some of the most memorable wins, and his quality in general has been like echoed to be like one of the best. So basically, that is just Matthias Cunha as to how he can play multiple positions. He can play as a centre forward, he can play as a second striker, he can play as a left winger, he can play as a left midfielder as well. So he's giving you a plethora of options to choose from. Although I'd say his best position is still undiscovered, I think this is where Manchester United come in, sir.
Hmm. Fair play, fair play. You did mention regarding how he can play as a midfielder, like a second striker, or even as a center mid, or even as a striker, right? But
Yeah.
before we talk about like how he fits into the Manchester United system or how Amorim wants to could potentially platform him. Let's like let the audience know, or let me also know about his playing style. Like how does he normally play?
Yeah, so in this video, let's just divide it into a section where we talk about his strengths alongside how it would translate into United. So, starting in possession, I think dribbling is one of his best traits. Why? Because the dribbling in tight spaces and the ball carrying in larger distances, it just flaunts his ball mastery in general. So, you see him throw in step overs, feints, and then he can turn past defenders. He's like a natural dribbler that can actually have his body orientation, and he persuades like through defenses in terms like the patterns are like completely unpredictable. So these are basically traits that Manchester United lack in the final third. Why? Because they lack someone who is unpredictable. They lack someone who can create something out of nothing in like 1v1 situations when he's isolated or something like that. So getting in a player who doesn't really stick to the systematic way of playing football, I think it can be a method for United to actually get better at. So we spoke of movement. So in terms of movements, I think agility, his body, he can position it into like uncanny ways where it is effective for him in like creating space or like making quick turns with his low center of gravity. So Amorim system basically also speaks of spatial manipulation, and that is what he's been trying to make it for the attackers to move fluidly between like compact blocks and stuff like that. So a role right now like this completely I think falls on Bruno Fernandes, and often it's just all onto himself to break through. So I think Kuna can actually make a difference to this. So passing technique in situations like these in terms of Puna's game, I think he has it in him to um, uh, basically understand the spaces and like the off the ball movements of his own teammates that can help him like play like half passed, uh, half lobbed crosses from like the LHS or even like the through balls to break lines for the center forward ahead of him to vision that channel run from him. So I think in areas like this for United structure, what they have, the
mm,
width in Amorim system basically comes from both their fullbacks. So
right.
if you have Cunha who can actually pick out those runs, you have different combinations that are unpredictable again. So
Mm,
he can be that missing link for United in transition particular, where he
mm,
can play as an inside forward, as a support striker, as the main striker and feed off like the overlaps, underlaps, or the run from the center forward.
mm,
Um, as a goal scorer, I think his goal catalog is quite impressive. Why? Because anytime you hear Kuna has scored, it's always a banger. It is
mm,
somewhere from outside the box. It is some crazy ass goal where he scores through his
yeah.
right foot, basically. So I think
Mm,
he has a perfect differentiation between precision and power in his shooting, and that
mm,
generally helps him in his shooting accuracy to maximize like the goals. So
mm,
this again is a factor that United have been wasteful as a side in the league this season, in particular in the central areas. So I think his, as you can see on the screen, the 3.58 shots per 90 from outside the box as well, some of them being, it adds a layer of threat that can't solely rely on Bruno or the wingers anymore. And this is why I think, in particular, United are also going for this signing where you can see the white box in this, the eagerness to show and shoot from these locations is just telling you a broader picture as to how comfortable he is in shooting. Talking about his play style out of position, I think he's building from the likes of Atletico Madrid to a Wolves has actually solidified his defensive game, where now he's considerably improved in like his out of possession work and the pressing routines as well. So basic stuff like intercepting the ball, get recovering the ball per 90, and also like blocking of like passing lanes and stuff like that. I think he's good at that. Might as well also talk about his pressing, which has really been great this season, where Wolves try to dominate. They also play a three-back system where he can also lead the press. So things like these actually benefit United again. And physicality, I think he can outmuscle opponents. He's not someone to actually fall to ground and claim those fouls. He's someone who would get up and then run forward to actually make something out of a move. So I think these are certain positions where he has an advantage and translate really well to United. Um,
right.
yeah, basically that.
Hmm. Actually, I want to pick out two important points from all the things that you said, right? You said his out of position work is really good, which is
Hmm.
very evident in Manchester United side, which is lacking because
Yeah.
that's the whole reason why players like Rashford or even Sancho were criticized, right? So I'm assuming
Hmm.
that he'll fix that. What I want to talk about is like 2 points. First thing, I remember you said like how the wingbacks bring in a lot of width to the game,
Yeah.
but the players in between that spaces do not see their runs, right?
Hmm.
A great example is like how Garnacho doesn't see those runs. It's a big
Yes.
example. Like and most of the reasons why majority of the runs made by Dorgu are not seen or Dallo
Hmm.
as well, right? That is one
Yeah.
thing, and like how he could like change that if Cunha is playing. Second thing is you said like how he can hold up the ball, right?
Yeah.
Because presently we have Hoyland. Presently, sorry, Manchester United have Hoyland, who's not developed or is still on the path of development, but is having to face the brunt of all the fans. So, do you think he can play as a second fiddle, like to develop, so that while Cunha is doing so well, Hoyland can learn? At the same time, I feel even the Xerxes situation because he said I'm a 9.5, right? So,
Yes.
how do you think Cunha would fit into this Manchester United system or the Amarim system? To let's just say not Manchester United, Amarim system.
Firstly, I'd say I think Hoyland needs to be given a bit more of a time to actually translate into the Premier League because the
Mm,
system changes have been quite harsh on Hoyland and Zirkzee, to be honest, who is claiming to be a 9.5. And actually, I do like his performances when he plays behind the striker rather than as the striker. So, in terms of Kuna, I think the biggest conundrum for him is to find his best position firstly and then translate that to United, and that is basically on what Amorim would also want from him to get like a clearer picture to get the best out of him when he comes at United. So I think if seen as a traditional number nine, which he would play obviously on top of Hoyland at United's current system, so I think he has the ability to obviously drop deep, like you said, link up play much better than what it is currently, and he can also like drag defenders where he has the physicality and then create those spaces. So he can act as a target man, play
mm,
those passes out wide to the same fullbacks of Dorgu
mm,
and Talo and all of them, and then
mm,
also carry into those zones because he's a very good dribbler again and he can carry the ball. Um,
mm,
he gives the squad an option apart from Hoyland, who can play a complete different game in the box. This guy's
mm,
someone completely different. And then his off the wall work, like we spoke recently in terms of his pressing and then mm, blocking of passing lanes and stuff like that, I
mm,
think it can resonate with Amorim's high intensity pressing approach. So these things, I
mm,
think, through transitions as well, can be taken off complete dominance. Why? Because this
mm,
guy is someone who would want to take the side alone himself. And like we
mm.
spoke, he doesn't want to stick to the system always. And it is
Right.
good at times to actually have a player like this who's a maverick. Um,
Mm,
if he's seen in that left center mid SS whatever inside forward role that United actually deploy, I think he
mm.
provides solutions to the central progression like we spoke in terms of shooting, and
Right.
this
Right.
helps majorly in opening up low blocks for United because they've been wasteful, and two, they've been also not been able to play those passes in those central lanes in order to create more chances. So I think this is what
Mm,
they'll get an option apart from a Bruno Fernandes. So
mm,
creativity is again what it is the need of the hour for them. So he brings in the
mm,
creativity, he brings in the finishing for them, and
mm.
you can argue that he is wasteful, but more the chances, merrier his output would be. So
Right.
if a profile like this can be executed to perfection, I think it would have a good knock-on effect. Lastly, I'd
Mm,
also say Garnacho. I think he might stay at United, but he gives a
mm,
different route to progression or
mm,
output than a Kuna, because
mm,
Kuna, although he can play as a inside forward who can go wide, he prefers
mm,
going central. And then you
mm,
have Garnacho who can also um, play through like the fullback who's next to him, play like
mm,
through the striker. So I think it's a good squad depth to have for United. And also
mm,
then another factor that I also think this guy brings into their game is the set pieces. Because if you
mm,
remember very clearly, earlier this season, Kuna scored a straight free kick, Olympico free kick, straight
uh,
corner goal, an Olympico
from the call. Huh.
from the corner against Manchester
Yeah.
United. So
Yeah.
United fans would surely remember this. So I think this
Right.
is another reason for them to sign him. So fair enough, man.
Okay. The last point I do not know, but he definitely looks like a much. I think they will. He will. They will definitely elevate Manchester United. Uh, the jokes are that Wolves have finished 15th and United could potentially finish 17th. That is upgrade. We're not bantering about that. We're just saying that
Yeah,
as an overall team, I think he could definitely solve many of the issues that you have from transitioning defensively or offensively having that structure as well, right?
yep.
Manchester United fans, do let us know in the comment section what do you guys think about it. But all the fans out there who have stayed till the very end watching the scouting report, please keep liking, keep subscribing, and keep sharing this content to all the friends, families, and well-wishers out there because we're trying to hit that 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Any final remarks, Arush? Or
Yeah, I think the deal should go through, but the
Hmm,
price tag, I don't really know if it actually justifies the talent as much
hmm,
because
hmm,
in today's world, the price tag that is being substituted right next to Cunha's name, I think it's 80 million plus or something. So
hmm,
the chances of it failing are also quite high. Why? Considering how United's current shape is. But
hmm,
if it actually turns out to be that one player United want to build around, I think Pune
hmm.
is that guy. So yeah, hopefully.
Exactly. And also one other thing I just like got to know, this could, I'm not really sure how far is true, but I think that that amount could be paid in installments. Again, the
Yeah.
news regarding the installments has not been confirmed in how many or even installments are in part of the thing. So yeah, all in all, I think it's a great signing for Manchester United. It's a huge move for Matheus Cunha as well.
Hmm.
Again, do let us know in the comment section what you guys think about this deal. Do you think he's worth it? Do you think our report is understandable for you guys? Let us know everything in the comment section. But yeah, stay tuned for more such videos. Till we see you again. Till then, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're in the world. Bye bye. Yes.